Good morning. Welcome back. Software engineering. We had taken the fifth unit into account for our discussion. We are in development testing. I'll go on explaining based on the presentations we have. The same you can copy from me or on the YouTube also. It is available. Software testing, you can refer Roger Pressman for most of the test cases as such, as I have explained yesterday, towards making a successful test for a best software development. I will connect. Hope all of you have seen the examination timetable. Software engineering, second IA test. On the same day, we have a compensatory, that is, who have missed first IA because of the other reason, they can also after the second IA. The last unit, the fifth unit, software testing. It is simple to study, very easy to understand, provided you have a good concentration on the topics. In the COVID holidays, as part of our study, I have sent you at least 5 separate assignments on each of the units, unit 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Have you tried attempting those assignments? Because till date nobody has come back me asking any of your difficulties or doubts in the subjects. Maybe you have studied in detail or you have gone through in detail. Definitely it has made you very easy to understand topics. I am happy, but in case of any of the difficulties, call me back to get solved your difficulties. software development, the testing are parallel activities in nowadays software development scenario, because it has to be taken care that every program process or a small set of a small module should not deviate the whole software as such. So parallel to the process or parallel to the software development, testing also goes on and on. So that is called development testing. During the time of development, it will be tested, and from its basics, that is, I have explained you in my earlier classes, the inspection, verification, validation, those were the earlier methods, but now there are automations also. Automated software testing also is the formality taken into account for some set of standard functions, some set of standard processes. It can be automated. The system itself takes care of the correct process followed by the programmer, and the program works correctly. Means devising the test cases, then test on the process, then get the result, all is manual. Instead, if we have automated, there will be some standard sets of test cases, and those are tested by the system automatically on the process and gives out the result saying it works fine. That is automation. In development testing also, we have to go for automation based on the agile programming technology, or on the basis of latest trends and techniques, technologies for fast, accurate and new mode of software development approach includes automation. That's more important, because you are the new generation or new age programmers, for which you should have a good knowledge about all the methods of testings. For a commercial software, as we have seen yesterday, the three types of testings are the must. The component testing, the user testing are the only two topics we have left in detailed discussion. Otherwise, I have gone for the first part of the development testing. I'll show you. This we have gone through. What is unit testing? And it focuses on the functionality of the objects and the methods. Very simple. The components testing, for component testing, individual units are integrated to create a composite component. Individual units are integrated objects, integrated to create one composite object on which a testing has to be done. The testing, now once you integrate, there should be some interface. For the connectivity, there should be some interface. That's the reason The component testing is testing component interfaces. Component testing is testing component interfaces. The unit testing is the modular approach of programming individual modules. I had written the block diagram here. For the project, there are so these have all modules in a single software test work. They interact with an interface. Each module or part of the program, a procedure or a function or any of the object, they communicate, they interact with an interface. This interface has to be tested now. You have tested this object. You have tested this object. But while having the transactions, is there any problem or is there any defect? You have to find out. The component testing focuses on interfaces. What do you mean by interface? The interface, as a software engineer, you should know it may be a hardware or a software together, or it may be independent. Depends on the situation or a context for which your software is being used, and data sent out or taken in, exported or imported, or there may be a data parallelly used or shared among different objects for the purpose. For that purpose, you need an interface. So this interface has to be tested properly, whether it's performing well, or there is no delay, or there is no interruption or halting. Totally object is not malfunction, it is working fine. Then your software having so many components working fine. The last one is the system testing. Yesterday we have discussed. It focuses purely on the component interactions. Now the question is, what do you mean by an interface? What do you mean by an interaction? Interaction is exchange of the data. Data goes out, data comes in. Purely a transport layer protocol, or on the network I am saying. Data goes out, data comes in. But who will take care of physical layer, data link layer, or the combination of both? If the physical layer is working perfectly, then only above 6 layers, as per the ISO OSI model, 7 layers of networking, all other 6 layers above the physical layer are working comfortable unless until the very base or ground, the first layer, physical layer, is working fine. That's the reason I take it as an example that when there is a physical layer working fine, then you can go for checking whether the data is transmitted from the above layers, IP and above layers. IP is third layer, above layers it's working fine. The definition says where some or all of the components in a system are integrated and the system is tested as a whole, system testing should be focusing on test of components interactions perfectly. They are working perfect. I believe these 3 points or 3 types of testing involved in development testing is now perfect to you. Means what is the definition of unit testing, second one component testing, the third one is the system testing is perfect to you. After going through all these test classification and their meanings, author finalizes or gives an overview or an escorting definition over the development testing. What he says ultimately is, as an overview, development testing, we can see that it is primarily a defect testing mechanism. Defect testing mechanism. It may be hardware or a software, process or a program, object or a module, whatever it is. A defect testing mechanism. During the process, the main aim of testing is to discover the bugs, not the mistakes. Not the mistakes. Don't get confused. It is discovering the bugs in the process or a software or a program. We'll go in elaborative way. We have gone through this process of unit testing yesterday. Just now I told. The example taken here as a weather station, weather forecasting, state diagram, what object in what state it can respond ultimately to a controller with a summary of a report. Summary of a report which is transmitted from the transponders. Transmitted from the transponders of the individual weather station. This example you make it perfect or memorize it perfectly for your final examination sake. Anywhere in any unit you find these one or the other test cases. There are totally 3 or 4 test cases he has taken into account. Of course, for a whole 24 chapters, he has taken 5 test cases as a sample models or sample test cases for all the 24 chapters. I am talking about the 9th edition of the Somerville. But for our concern of these 5 units, at least you should be perfect in these 3 test cases. One of that one is weather forecasting or weather reporting system. We know unit testing, it is testing on the objects whether it's functioning fine or not. To test a single unit, how you can test and what are the different types of test cases you devise for testing a unit or an object is more important. As a tester, software tester, you should be having some set of test results in your hand before testing, expected results in your hand or expected test results in your hand, so that after testing takes place, you compare the tested results with the actuals so that whether they match or not. Otherwise, there may be some deviation, there may be some problem. That is the main reason we are studying the software testing. I repeat it most of the times. Otherwise, studying the unit as a whole is of no use unless until we know what is testing. It's not just formality. It is the way what I explained. Testing expensive and time consuming, so it is important that you choose effective unit test cases based on following points. Why it becomes time consuming and expensive is, for a certain project a time bound is, or certain budget is, or certain manpower is allocated by the big companies. In that scenario, they expect a particular project finished in short span, not affordable span or a minimum span, or a good time span, not taking too much of time. But unnecessary, you going for a elaborative testing, or the testing is totally of no use. You are wasting the time. It should not happen. That's the reason it's time consuming and more, it's expensive, he says. That's the meaning of expensiveness. Testing, they are not borrowing it. They are not borrowing it. But at the cost of manpower, at the cost of time period, it's more and more important for the company to spend. That's the reason it becomes expensive. The test cases should show that when used as expected, the components that you are testing does what it is supposed to do, that is the functional requirement by the specification. If there are defects in the component, these should be revised, they should be revealed by the test cases. Classify, group the test cases with partition based on the upper limit and the lower limit specified in the software. Say there is a software, there are n number of inputs, n number of outputs. Can you go for testing all of them? No. It's not feasible, or it's not actually practical also in certain cases. A huge amount of software, a very big software for a big enterprise having say n number in the sense there are at least more than 500 to 1000 transactions involved, 500 to 1000 transaction menus involved, or 500,000 options of processings are involved. Based on the specific menu you select, it goes for a specific operation. So there may be thousands of options on some commercial software involved, because of the business policies every now and then changing. They have to give an options for the processings, different processings. Of course, you will come to know in your professional career as such. Every component or every process cannot be tested, but instead for a specific input, a specific output is desired, those you group it out, those you have to partition it out. For the partitions, you take some sample of test cases in particular partition and test it out. That actually saves your time. I'll give a simple example. This is input, this is an output. So there are thousands of operations involved. Do you go for testing all 1000 operations? For the same process, do you go for testing all the operations? No. Otherwise, it will be a waste of time. The very first line that shows it will be very expensive for testing individual operation on the same component for the same inputs. Instead, what you do is, for the tens boundary up to 99, or the mid of the total span, that is for the thousands, the mid is 500, the 500, here is the 99, and somewhere in between 500 and 1000 you make one more partition, that is a 750 or 800 somewhere. You take 1, 2, 3, 4 partitions, totally 4 partitions. In the partition, the very first value, the last value, the first value and the last value, the first value and the last value, the same way up to it reaches the 1000th input. for the same process. How many tests you have done, how many test cases you have devised is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not even the proportion of, for every 100 numbers there is one test case, it would have been 1 to 10, that is 10 test cases you have devised. But based on the partition you decided, or mostly nowadays companies decide on the range of inputs, the starting and ending, or you can say beginning or ending, the ranges you have to decide for test. But apart from that, somewhere in one or the other range you go for testing the middle of the range. The middle of the range is also one of the input, not all, you can say in the tens or somewhere in the hundreds. So 1, 2 added, so it has worked out totally 10 cases. For 1000 operations on the same process, you have devised 10 cases, and which will finish off within no time, because you have the inputs in your hand and expected output also you can calculate and keep it ready for cross checking. This is what the author says in partitioning the inputs to be, and the test cases you can devise and go for testing it, which will save the time. That will be a ultimate saving on the expenses that is incurred for software testing alone. The diagram, classic diagram, the ranges, whatever the range is, the first range, the second range, third range, or the fourth range, the ranges here shown in this way, the ranges of the inputs for the system, what the correct output should be, and the overall output partitions that you will get. Partition means for each partition you will get one output. The possible outputs by the system based on the groupings of the inputs or partitions of sample taken from the partitions, which are the correct outputs that you have to keep in hand ready for checking actuals. We have talked about partitioning the test cases for the unit testing, but there should be some title, or there should be some basis for classifying the inputs. So the basis, there are two kinds of test cases, that is, the first of these should be reflecting normal operation of the program, that should show that the component works. The second kind of test cases, that should be based on testing experiences where common problems arises and check abnormal inputs processed properly and component doesn't crash. Abnormal inputs processed properly. So abnormal in the sense taking the extremes into account, we have to test extremes. Extremes in the sense the boundary, that is the last boundary, that 1000. The last boundary also, the another lower side boundary, abnormal input. Of course, you say it is a normal, but working on the boundaries may be abnormal. It becomes abnormal because of the conditions less than, greater than, equal to, one or the other way it might have gone wrong. That is the assumption. So it has to be processed properly, doesn't crash. The first point refers to the middle on the boundary, not on the boundary, on the range, not the boundary, on the range between 0 to 99. You can check somewhere, say around 50 or 60 or somewhere in the middle or towards the end of the partition, like 80s or 90s, or somewhere at the beginning or 10, 20 or so, you can check the first point. That is the normal operation. Abnormalities. This classification of partitions is called as equivalence class partition. Equivalence class partitioning is you are making equal sets of partitions. I told equal sets of partitions. Here if you have made a 99, you carry out the next 99, the next 99, next 99, there should be 10 test cases. Equivalence partitioning. But for software testing, equivalence class partitioning, you can decide on the partition how you are making is your policy or the company's policy, not a rule or a mandate, but it is called as equivalence class. What for? You have made a partition, you have to justify how best the partition responds for the inputs and gives you the correct result, so that you are convinced the output whatever you have got is based on the expected result tallied with actual result found correctly. Equivalence class partitioning is your decision to make the partitions. This line we will revisit again in the next slide. Guideline based testing is also one of the classifications. Once we have equivalence class partitioning is of the formality that we have clear cut barriers put into the complete range of inputs that what you can give to the system and test it out. We can also take the expert advice or guidelines from the seniors or the expert programmers or the executives who are working in a project for more than such sort of projects more than a decade or so. Not just a decade, maybe so many more than a decade, more than 2 decades, 3 decades. There are so many experts in the companies. So they have come across so many collaborative projects, national, international collaborative projects. They have a good experience in facing such difficulties, how exactly the software could not perform. First the failures, then how they could solve. Based on that background, the guidelines based testing is also one of the best formality that we can observe apart from this equivalence class test. Whatever just explained for the partitioning, I have put into a diagram. This diagram available in the textbook also. The partitioning, when there is a lakhs of inputs, you can see that 99,999 is the last number beyond which 1 lakh starts. So between 1000 to 99,000 is one boundary and less than 1000 is one boundary. Here I had made decimals or less than 99 is one boundary, hundreds as one boundary, and up to the last, that is 1000 is the last boundary. Beyond that I don't have any number. I had not taken any number starting from 0 to 1000. Here he has taken the 3 boundaries. One is in thousands, less than thousands, one is in thousands, one is in lakhs. It is also the same. He has shown how to take on the boundary, below the boundary, above the boundary, or on the both the boundaries, the 1000 and the 99,900. Both these are the boundaries beyond which or before which there is a number which is boundary actually crosses, where the boundary crosses, or there may be some condition or a comparison or any formality that takes into account how the boundary works for making the partitions shown by this diagram. Guidelines that could help and reveal defects include: test software with a sequence that have only a single value. Programmers naturally think of sequence as made up of several values, and they embed this assumption in their programs, and so this happens Here I was talking about the interface. Through the interface it's working fine. The interface working fine, passing on the values from module 1 to module 2. The module 1 is very simple. Take we can a simple example we can take. The module 1 accepts the integers, it passes on to the second module or the third module, in our case module, that is it accepts only the decimals, not the floating, not the integers. It needs only the floating point or the decimal numbers. For such convention, transforming the integer to a decimal is first issue. Otherwise, if you have taken only decimal, the integer, then it is transformed to a decimal number. While converting it to a decimal number, there may be a lenience or there may be a problem or a error that occurs. It passes on the same input. After processing over here, it may pass on to the nth module, where again it is converted back to an integer. So first and last input and output are the integers. That's the reason intermittent modules definitely may take integers is a convention by the programmer. So he devised a code in such a way that all acceptance or all inputs are the integers only. His convention. There's a line, second line, you can see. Naturally think of a sequence as made up of formality. Then the error may be caused here or there if there is a division or multiplication, basically a division itself. So the division for the decimals, division for the integers, both changes as mathematical formalities manually differs from the computer divisions. So there it may definitely go wrong. So that the programmers have to take care. Second one, use a different sequence of different size in the different tests. This decreases the chance that program with defects will accidentally produce a correct output because of some accidental characteristics of the input. So these are the casualties, means somehow you got a correct result based on the inputs, but it doesn't mean that every module is working perfectly. The same case for the first point, giving an integer input, you got a final output which you had expected, it has come correctly, but one or the other time it might have made a mistake. That's the reason we are checking the boundaries or partitions where it should not make any mistakes. That is the reason we are going for checking the boundaries. The second one is a component testing. For the component testing, we have discussed already the interfaces between the two objects or two modules is interface have to be tested. The interface or of the formality, then we have to classify the formalities or the interfaces, how it is, either a hardware or a software. The clear cut idea given by the author for what the interface have to be taken into account for component testing are the examples. Parameter interfaces. Parameters are variables declared, and the advanced reservations for the identifiers that is kept in the shared memory or the specified reserved memory or independent memories. The parameter interfaces that have to be checked whether it is there or not, because somewhere ABC has been defined, the result is stored in D, but D is not at all declared. In that case, the output or the result gives is erroneous. Of course, in a program while debugging, we'll get the error that identifier is not declared. But for advanced programming like Java or C#, the web programming using the classes or using independent modules with the interface, the same again I will have to come back, using a specific interface, there it may cause a problem because you are thinking this interface is part of the other module. So you declare here and accept from the other module. You declare here or accept from the module, other module, or you first assume that this interface exists. In that one it's already defined and you start accepting it, but this is not actually defined in the other one, in the other module. So that communication gap or that is assumption made by the program is wrong. So that should not happen. That is parameter interfaces. Passing on the values. This is best example. Pass on the values from here to there. One module has 3 identifiers. The other module accepts only 2. But where the other has to go? Then obviously it pops up an error. A parameter interface. The shared memory interfaces. The shared memory is for the same memory location, the different identifiers struggling for storing their values or a data. The once stored, it has to be exhausted or it has to be moved to the backup or moved to the further process. But it is not. It's not happening. It is taken. It has to be taken care by the programmer so that the shared memory has to be immediately made available once the process is over for the forthcoming processes which are awaiting, which are in the queue. So the shared memory interfaces have to be taken care. Procedural interface. Procedural interfaces is one procedure that exists, we believe, and start asking the values from that procedure. Obviously that procedure doesn't exist, from where the program, the software has to give the results, pops up an error. The message passing interfaces. The message should not go without an encryption, the security. First thing, the message is passing, the message should go with a specific encryption so that the other party will decrypt it and see it properly. On the network, while encrypting the message from the different protocols, the message may be transformed or transmitted or encrypted with different formalities. So for that reason, while passing the message with a perfect interface, how exactly, where exactly, who should, in what layer, or what is the opponent, or who is the party who is the receiver of the message, how he decrypts the message has to be taken care. The message passing interface. But component testing, even though we know these are just 4 examples, there are abundant interfaces. There are so many interfaces which not listed, but these are given as an example for your study just as part of one unit, but there are several interfaces. How the interface may cause an error? It may be a misuse. If it is not secure, it may be misused by the third party. It is misused. Interface misunderstanding. Misunderstanding is the translation problem or a decryption problem. Misunderstanding. What is sent is totally decrypted in total different way. The text is decrypted as a the Unicode, or Unicode is decrypted as a text. During this transaction, the original text get malfunctioned with some other character, with ASCII formalities. You know the ASCII formalities, American Standard Code for Information Interchange. In that one, any character should not get misinterpreted. Not just an ASCII. Other than that, there are special symbols, functions, and all. Those are also a part of a message or an interface. Should not be misunderstood. Timing errors. Timing is for a specific IRQ, interrupt request queue. A time assigned in a queue, it's waiting for its process. It's based on the priority. At what priority, what message has to be processed. But the priority for the 2 process on the same process, for priority, time priority given to the 2 processes going or processing on the same processor should not be mishandled, or timing error should not occur based on the IRQ, interrupt request queue, or timing error, the process expected time, it exceeds the expected time, and the previous waiting processes, they get either deviated or get corrupt or maybe malfunction. The timing errors. General guidelines for the interface testing with the 5 key points to remember are, so these are the general guidelines towards these happenings. Examine the code to be tested and explicitly list each call to an external component. This I have explained to you. Where pointers passed across interface, test it with a null pointer parameters. In the lab testing, you have to test it with a null pointer, because there the address may be changed. Address changes definitely for a particular pointer, for particular assignment, and accepting a data, and it assigns to particular memory location. While testing, you test it with null pointer parameters. Test it with null pointer parameters. Component testing interface errors. Further, where a component is called through a procedural interface design test that deliberately cause the component to fail. Procedural interface design tests that deliberately cause the component to fail, it is the procedural passing on the parameters, the call of the procedure or call of the function or call of the any module's functionality with the specific parameters that should not be different from actually it is devised for. That is one of the testing interface error. Use stress testing is message passing system which produce messages more than the real time, so that to see timing problem. That is, you can purely see it as overloading. It is also called as overloading in the programming language. It is called as overloading. So you see that it performs perfectly, or it pops up with a professional message or a perfect message saying what is happening through. It should not consume more time. Where several components interact through shared memory, a design test that vary in order which these components are activated, or so this timing problem with IRQ or process waiting in a queue, how it has to be same priority, or how the processor process with different processes with having different IRQs. This I have already discussed just now. No need for further elaborating. So these are the general guidelines. As mentioned earlier, the inspections and their reviews will work out cost effective compared to the above, as they are concentrated on interface behavior. Here very interesting point is an inspections and their reviews. Inspections are the former formalities before testing started of the software. Testing started, the inspections were there and their reviews were used to take manually by hand for what exactly happened or so. Now everything has been automated, but this actually inspection itself is more perfect than the software testing, the author's assumption, because author says, because they concentrate on interface behaviors. Take an interface and go on observing what are all its functionalities and in what context, how it has to behave and what it has to seek and what it has to give out. This is structured way manually taken during the inspections, and whether it is doing perfectly or not being tested by an inspector or the software tester nowadays. The earlier the inspector used to, whether the specific operation or an interface doing perfectly or not is more accurate based on its behavior tested during inspections, not during testing, the author claims. The last one in development testing is the system testing. The system testing is the collective testing of all the modules and the total software performance against the individual software features adopted and their functionalities. Yesterday I have explained, today also I have drawn the diagram over there. There are n number of software programs or modules. They are inducted in one project for different purposes. Combining all together, once you have done, what is the first one? The classification. As you can see there, unit testing. What you are going to do, individual units. Then comes how to test the unit, how to devise the test cases, unit test cases, and component testing. What is a component and how it has to be? What are the components? Together individual modules functionality and the interaction between the two modules, how they pass on the information, data. Clubbing all the modules together, you are performing one final testing called as the system testing. System testing during development involves integrating the components to create a version of the system and then testing the integrated system. The first, as per the statement, every software has a version. The very first 1.0, then comes 2.0, or it depends on the company's policy or philosophy how to name the versions that matters for the company. So once devised the software, when it's evolved, the very first version go through the system testing. After system testing and the revisions modifications, it is renamed as version next n plus 1. If it is first version is n and the next version is n plus 1. So reviews of the various testings you have to go into take into account for integrating components test further. Even though it overlaps, here the point to be observed is the system testing involves the component testing. System testing obviously involves component testing because as a whole the system includes the components also and their reactions also, interactions also. But it is a bit changing. It changes a bit compared to component testing. The component testing, you have what you have seen just with the interfaces among the two modules. But in system testing, you are taking OTGs, means the third party software, wherein you may need some transformations of the inputs or a data values, or you may go for reusable components. That is, the software industry or the developer might have stored one or the other similar set of software or a program or a module in his hand for the earlier projects. He is reusing it. That he inducts, that he joins, that he clubs along with the off-the-shelf OTS or the plugins, add-ons for the functionalities like what you add for your web browsers, like add-ons, the plugins for one or the other formalities, simple formalities, save as or take a snapshot or transformations or saving the web page complete, one or the other formalities, the plugins or the add-ons like that. Those off-the-shelf OTS you have to club along with the reusable software, and they are integrated with the components. Components means what the module 1, 2, 3, 4, n under this project. Those components and reusable off the shelf together mixed will be tested in system testing. Will be tested in system testing. This is one of the change compared to simple component testing only. In component testing only a module and its interface will be checked, but here you are taking reusable as well as OTS. The components developed by the different team members or groups may be integrated. At this stage, system testing is collective rather than the individual process, because here the testers will be from out of the project. They are looking at their overview, how the software is working, how the software gives a correct result. In general, the components developed by the different team members or groups may be integrated as a stage. System testing is collective rather than individual processes. As an overview, because of the outside party, as we have seen yesterday, that is system experts or executives or the system analysts, along with the end user also, the customer is also very valuable. He also checks your software for his needs or the functions, whatever he had mentioned earlier. So this is very crucial, and this is along with other components. So these are the two classifications beyond which the component testing is also involved in system testing. That is very crucial. So this is almost like what we just discussed yesterday, that is release testing.